I'm waiting. I'm holding my breath. I think we are live. I think we are. Oh my goodness. And it actually looks like it's supposed to look like. Thank you guys so much for your patience over the last, couple of weeks trying to get this live stream set up and figured out. And I thought I was far techier than apparently I am. Or maybe it's just that I've been out of the tech world for so long that it's taking me a lot longer than I expected to be able to come up with all of the information that I needed to try to put this all together. So, anyways, thank you very much for having patience with me and for joining me on this ride. My name is Tracy. I am, my channel is Craft a Simple Life. We're doing some slow stitching, working on English paper piecing, learning a little bit along the way. I'll be showing you what I'm working on, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer any questions that you have quickly and as thoroughly as possible. If I do not know the answer, I apologize. I will get back to you, I hope. Remind me if I don't get back to you. And yes, so again, my name is Tracy. I am from Craft a Simple Life. Tonight we are going to focus on hexagons. Right now, So Foxy Mama on Instagram, and I believe that's her name on her Etsy channel as well. She is hosting a challenge. It's 100 Hexies, 100 Days challenge. Apparently they've done it since 2018. I am jumping on board this year. It's my first year. I started doing English paper piecing and quilting throughout Corona virus lockdown and all of that stuff. I've always been a sewer. I've always been a crafter. And I enjoy sharing my talents and sharing my dreams and desires with others, and this is just sort of one way for me to do that. And plus, the kids wanted me to. And by the way, hello Abby and Catherine. Those are my girls. I'm sure they're around somewhere. They'll probably pop in later and say hello on the chat, but we'll see where we go from here to there. So, I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your subscribes. I've had a few new followers in the last little while, so I do appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Welcome. I am very honest. I will always be very honest. I will do my best to be transparent. My biggest thing is for people to live their life as authentically and as happily as they possibly can. And I'm going to share my life struggles and my life successes on this channel. I do not want to leave out the struggles. I have fibromyalgia, I have depression and anxiety, and amongst other health issues. And I would like to be honest with people, and I would like to show people that just because you have a disability, particularly an invisible disability, does not mean that you cannot accomplish what you would like to, and you can't. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy your life. Yes, I'm sick. Yes, I cannot work, but I can craft. Not always, and I have to be very careful. So the other thing that I focus on while I'm crafting is ergonomics. It's very important for my body. I have to take breaks. I have to do things to remind myself to take those breaks. And I pay for things later. So I might be able to do the stream tonight, tomorrow, or the next day. I will pay for it sometimes. So I have to be sure to not overdo it. But tonight we're going to do some stitching. Slow stitching I love because of the fact that I can put it down. Taking breaks is easy. I have a dog, I have a cat, I have children. I need to be able to put things down and pick them back up again. When you're sat at a sewing machine, it's not always as simple as that. The other main reason that I got into English paper piecing originally was I was spending a lot of time with my mother, in her backyard on the deck. And I was enjoying the outside, and I was enjoying the visiting, and I was enjoying doing things, but I needed something to do with my hands. I also knit and crochet, but particularly in the summer, I find it very difficult to do that. In the summer particularly, I have temperature regulation issues, so having a big blanket over top of me, making me overheat, is just not a good option for me. So uh, I have to be very aware of that, and I had to switch from doing things, crafting things with big things to crafting smaller things. And English paper piecing was one way for me to do both the quilting that I very, very, very much so wanted to learn, as well as being able to spend time unplugged, not having to, not having to watch television the entire time, or not having to be attached to my device, not being scrolling endlessly on Instagram and Facebook. And those are wonderful things. I do love doing those things. I love connecting with people on Facebook and on Instagram and other places, but it's not necessarily the thing that you want to do all day, every day. And I think that's part of ensuring my mental health is as happy, and I'm as happy as that I can be. So that part of that is unplugging. English paper piecing is wonderful to take with you on the go. What I do, and this generally seems to be a thing that I do, I have a number of different, there they are, a number of different in the same size, what's the word? I have 6 in the same size of needles that I thread. This is great in the car, by the way, if you're going on a trip. Pre-threading, so you don't have to worry about trying to get the thread through the eye of a needle in a moving vehicle. Good call. There's even one of those, a winder that actually holds all of them for you and keeps them all corralled and that sort of stuff. I haven't got one of those myself. I'm not as much of a gadget person as a lot of people are. So anyways, excuse me, just a tickle in my throat there. So what I do is I pre-thread them, and then I use the technique of marrying your thread, which is basically weaving through the end of it so that it doesn't pull off. When you're done with your thread, you do have to actually cut it at the eye of the needle in order to get the rest of the thread off. But it means that it doesn't come loose as you're doing your stitching, which I don't sometimes have full dexterity. So I do find that that helps a lot, not having to worry about physically having to hold on to the extra at the end of the tail. I do also use the quilter's knot on a regular basis, particularly when I'm EPPing. And for example, some people like Tula Pink. She doesn't do the quilter's knot. She just does this over under thing that I could never figure out. So it's just easier for me to do the quilter's knot because it's nice and quick. I do it without even thinking. As soon as I cut it, I do it, and then I put it away sometimes, which is kind of funny. But anyway. Okay, so tonight we're going to work on some hexagons, 100 hexagon challenge. Last week was the theme. Excuse me, I'm just going to grab a Kleenex here. The theme last week was Sewist's Choice. So I was working on the project that you can see on my lap here in my hand cam, which is the hexagon, this hexagon thing. This was actually the very, very, very first project that I made. And then I put it together and I hand quilted part of it, and I wanted to add to it. So I'm extending it up and I'm bringing it down slightly. And then I'm going to use it actually as my lap table. And just, yeah, that's what I wanted to use it for. So And I'm doing my best, by the way, to not say so I will apologize. I do lose my train of thought a lot. Fibromyalgia does do some wonderful things to your brain. I will say fiber fog an awful lot because I just can't seem to think of the right word. So my apologies for that, but thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for letting me be authentically me. Okay, so what are we doing tonight? Oh, this week, these are the hexagons that I got done myself this week. I got 19 basted, and I got these all attached together last night. And today I was trying to, I've gone live several times to try to show people what I'm doing and try to get this thing working, and this is the first time it's actually worked, so yay me, I finally figured it out, and hopefully I don't have to make any major changes from here. And yeah, so if you are here with me, say hi. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate your thumbs up and your subscribes. I did, like I said, have a few new subscribers this week, so I appreciate you. And yeah, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer your questions. I am fairly new to quilting and very new to YouTubing. So I will answer any questions that you have if I'm able to. If I'm not able to, I will do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. Okay, so hexagons are sort of the staple in the English paper piecing world. The Hexagon Challenge, 100 hexagons pasted. There are a number of different methods that you can use in order to baste your fabric around the pieces. So this is actually a good example of two different types of basting. The white one on the side here is actually a starch baste. So what I did was I actually used starch and wet the fabric on the edges, and then used an iron to dry them in the folded fashion. So I was actually using an iron to flatten it and to dry it while it was folded over the top of it. The easier way to do that is glue. You can use a sew-line glue stick. You can use, I think Bohin has one, and I think there's one other company, but I'm not absolutely sure who. I have just been using one of the washable glue sticks. The ones that go from purple to clear when they dry are great. They work very well. You want to make sure that it is a washable glue stick though, not a permanent one. If you're using a permanent one, you probably are not going to be able to get your papers out once you're done. So you basically put a line of glue along the paper and then push it together. You can use liquid glue as well, white liquid glue. Best if you use it with an iron to dry it quickly. But it's just more fidgety and a whole heck of a lot more messy. But it works. So use what you have at home. You don't need to go out and buy all the fancy stuff, and that is one of the things that I am going to try to focus on. So just so you're aware that I do everything I can to try to make things inexpensive and frugal, and to use things around the house. I am a minimalist at heart. I do want to do things, have as little things around me as possible, but actually enjoy the few things that I do have around me. I have a long way to go still, but I'm on my way there. So this is the second type of basting that you can do, which is a thread basting. Thread basting can be done either with just the fabric, or it can be done between the fabric and the paper, both basted at the same time. If you are doing, if you're going through the paper, you will find that you absolutely must cut out all of those basting stitches and remove them, because otherwise you are not going to be able to get the paper out. And if you're using plastic templates, which is what I have switched to now, you are not able to go through the plastic, obviously. So you're, if you can pop them out, you can actually leave the thread in there. One other thing I'm going to mention is that you can see here that my seam allowance on the white one is tiny. It's a true 1/4 inch. This one here is more like a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance that I've put around. Much easier to baste if you've got a little bit of extra fabric. So I do prefer the 3/8 inch. Not always possible, but I do my best to do that. And the other thing that I do my best to do, sorry, I'm just trying to find it here, because I do have, they hide on me because there's so many of them now. Oh, no, that's not it. Anywho, I'll probably find it as soon as I stop streaming. You know, as soon as you turn on the camera, you lose your brain, because that's just how it works. Okay, I'm going to forget about that for right now. Okay, so, guys, I did a thing. As you get to know me, because everybody is new here, but as you get to know me, you're going to find out that I kind of do things, and then I get really involved in them, and then I forget about them again for a little while, so I apologize, but that's just who I am, and it's not going to change. So, if you don't like it, don't subscribe. If you like it, subscribe. So I did a thing. I remembered while I was cutting I finally went to a quilt shop. I had never been to a quilt shop. Corona had been around. When I started quilting, I ended up being able to go into a fabric land to buy a couple pieces of fabric. I was able to go on to a destashing live feed, and I was able to purchase a whole bunch of cotton, quilting cotton, to be able to do my starter stuff. In fact, the pink and the little girls on this fabric are actually from that destashing when I purchased, and then the white is actually from Fabricland. So that was what I picked up afterwards. Just needed to fill out. I didn't have any white on white. I needed some white on white to be able to add some contrast and to get some background for several projects that I was working on. So I did end up making it there. Not my favorite place in the world, particularly not for quilting cottons. It's definitely not reasonably priced there. You absolutely must look for sales in order to do that. But anyways, I made it to the quilt store. I was a little overwhelmed. I was very excited. I remembered while I was cutting things up that this after 8 tin would probably be just about right to store my hexagons once I've cut them, and once I've got the templates all ready, I can put them in here and keep them. And it's I love after 8s. It's my one thing. It's not my one thing, but it's my Christmas thing. Every year everybody gets me after 8s for Christmas, because that's just what you do for me, because that's pretty much the only, a little bit of turtles, but not too much. So anyways, I bought a few charm packs. I bought a mini charm pack, which I've showed you guys before, and then I bought 4 5-inch charm packs. And then yesterday, while I was cutting them into mini charm pack sizes, so the 2.5-inch size, I remembered that I had this tin, and this tin is now full. I'm so excited. It's funny, it's odd, it's weird. Those of you who are crafters, you're gonna know, you understand. It's a little weird. but it's a lot of fun. So this is all of that, and this is the little mini charm packs that I got originally that are rainbow colored. These are actually Konas. And then the white, I forget what they're called. They're basics. And then these are from Stonehenge. So last week